Hello there and welcome back to another video. 5 weeks since my last one, I think it was, and we're kicking off with Liverpool's friendly ties that are kicking off today. They've already been done, should I say, 30-minute games, two 30-minute games against two different teams, two different lineups, and it was, for me personally, and I will say just for me personally, I thought it was a good way to kick off things. All right, we haven't smacked these sides like 4 or 5-0, whatever. They both ended in 1-1 draws. One that we went ahead in and one that we ended up being behind in, and we ended up drawing both games. Now, there is a lot of people, as you would expect. Twitter's rife with them, and I've actually decided to fully avoid Twitter just in general because I don't think it's a nice place to really frequent that much. And especially when it comes to, football, or anything, any interaction like that, I avoid it. But there's a lot of kickoffs about how Liverpool looked, people not taking into consideration about the lineups that we put out, the players that got some time, the players that actually looked decent, and everyone's just focusing on the results and the teams that they came against. So, let me just start off with saying, first of all, the first team that we came up against, I'm just going to say it how it says it. If it's meant to be Wacker, I don't know if it is, but Wacker Innsbruck was the first team. Ended up drawing 1-1. I'll go through the lineup that we had. Karius, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Ben Davies getting his first minutes for Liverpool as well. Owen Beck, Tyler Morton, Leighton Clarkson, Jake Kane, and then the front line was Cade Gordon, Origi, and Minamino as well. Now, it was good for me, in my opinion, to see some of these players. I was really looking forward to seeing Karius come back and seeing how he would do. And obviously my heart sank a little bit when I saw the goal that we conceded, and it was really something that he should have had covered. Positional sense, in my opinion, just wasn't good enough in that respect. I'm not sure how much competitive football he's played while he's been away from Liverpool. I don't think that this has done him really any good in terms of showing what he could bring to Liverpool. I don't think it's, or if he's even got a chance. We come on to the second match, but I still think that Karius would be a better option than Adrian. We move on to some other players. We know what we're going to get from Trent and Matip, but what it was good to see was these guys come back as well. Obviously, Trent suffering the injury that took him out of the Euros, and Matip has missed a lot of football. Great to see them back on the pitch as well. Ben Davies, it was just nice to see him. Honestly, it was just nice to see him and that he actually exists. And you know what I mean when I say that. I'm not trying to be offensive, but we signed this guy and he never featured at all. I think he was on the bench a good couple of times, but other than that, never featured, never actually stepped off the bench. It was just nice to see him as well. And to be honest, it wasn't one of those things where I was like, oh my God, as if this is what we've signed. I didn't think he did that badly, in my opinion, anyway. I felt that the younger guys that really... The one that shone for me was Cade Gordon. I felt that he actually played really, really well. He seemed to be the most confident player on the pitch, and I felt that he did really, really well. Origi scored the penalty, sort of put himself about a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure whether is there a future for him at Liverpool. And then the other side of that is, are Liverpool going to go buy someone if we do sell him? We'll do another video on all that sort of stuff. I guarantee it. Nice to see Minamino back as well and see Jake Kane, Clarkson, Morton, and as I said before, Beck as well get minutes as well. It's a much changed team. It's nothing like what the first team will look like against Norwich, or what you would expect it on a weekly basis. Maybe a couple of players change here or there. People need to understand that. They really do. The results and that don't matter. And maybe some of these Liverpool fans maybe need to take a bit of a break when you see like Arsenal get beat by Hibs and drawing with Rangers. Maybe they need to give these things a break and stop trying to go on banter runs with with Arsenal fans and such like that until we play our games against a team I've never heard of, and I have heard of Stuttgart as well, but I don't know if they're a great Bundesliga team. It's one of those things. Maybe just hold that banter back just a little bit before we actually get our games out of the way. How about that? So I was impressed with a lot of those guys as well. I think Minamino, I want to see more of him. I really want to see more of him, and I feel that he could have a good run at Liverpool. He could have at least good bench appearances, a good option. I was gutted when we got rid of him. and sent him on loan to Southampton last season. I felt it was a really bizarre idea to do that. He'd featured well in the 7-0 that we did against Crystal Palace, mentioned that so many times before, but he had, and he featured very, very well and never featured again for us. I'd like Minamino to be kept around. We'll do stuff about this at a later date as well. We come on to how we lined up for Stuttgart, and obviously this was the more attacking lineup. You're looking at it, and on paper, when you're looking at a front line that has Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Harvey Elliott, Oxlade-Chamberlain sort of playing in that 9 role, which I don't know if it will work, but if it's something that they're wanting to work on, is maybe a different option to a Bobby Firmino or even a Divock Origi, maybe just changing that role of Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'm not sure. I've always preferred him coming out of midfield, going forward, driving forward, and being able to support the guys in behind him as well. But just got to sort of go with whatever Klopp sort of thinks. But the lineup for this one was Adrian in goal, Connor Bradley at right back, Konate and Reece Williams. Tsimikas actually seemed to get minutes as well and was really impressive. I was impressed with him. Milner, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Harvey Elliott, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane. That is a much stronger team against a much stronger team in Stuttgart as well. And to be fair, they did test them in this half an hour that they had. It was only half an hour games, but it was back and forth. It was, we would counter them, put some good players together. They would counter us and put us under real danger as well. What you saw from Konate was the good tracking of the man. Didn't really, you didn't really see the guy playing the back heel for their goal. Didn't see that coming. He's going with his guy. There was no one really positionally in the right position to even block the shot that was coming. So I can't really blame him for that. And his recovery pace actually seemed really, really decent. There was one moment where, maybe 1 moment or 2 moments where the guy's getting behind us, but his recovery pace just made such a difference. And that is what we missed, obviously, with Gomez and Van Dijk out for a long time last season. The one thing that we didn't have in the centre-backs was having other players that had pace, that could go, and if someone gets it behind, they can go and make it a foot race and get him, make it difficult for them. We just didn't have that, and that's going to be a massive feature of our game again going forward, which will be our high line and having people that can play it and also, if mistakes are made, can recover. So that's going to be something that's really decent there. Tsimikas, I felt, played really well. Tsimikas is someone else that I would love to see get more minutes. It's difficult when you've got, and it'll be the same with Konate as well, when you've got the likes of Van Dijk and Gomez in front of you. Well, it's even more difficult for left back, because you've got Andy Robertson, who's the absolute machine that he's been with Liverpool and with Scotland as well. He's played so much football. It's really hard to get Tsimikas in and competing with him. But I really do hope that Tsimikas can put all of his injury issues behind him that he's had while he's been at Liverpool and actually make a run for that left-back position, make it a bit more competitive, and then hopefully we can be more competitive on other fronts in other competitions that he could possibly feature in without lowering that quality that we have, obviously, from Andy Robertson as well. The midfield, Milner, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I felt they all looked sharp. They maybe all weren't, and they're not necessarily the most defensive-minded players anyway. So maybe that's the reason why we got caught out. I'm not sure. But when you've got players like a Fabinho in there as well, and a Jordan Henderson, we'll talk about Jordan Henderson in a future video. But when you've got players like that are naturally a bit more defensively minded, especially Fabinho, then yeah, you get a lot more cover in that back line. But these guys were pretty much more about trying to get the ball, move it forward, quick passes, accurate passes, which didn't always come off, to be fair. But I also felt that I was maybe expecting a little bit more from Harvey Elliott, to be honest with you. Obviously, with Oxlade-Chamberlain playing more in the front line, Harvey Elliott was sort of drifting in between forward and obviously staying into the midfield as well. Not sure whether that benefited him or not, but we can only see how this goes over pre-season anyway. Salah, there was good moments. There was really good moments. I think there was a good moment where Salah absolutely just missed one that you just go, that's a goal, and it wasn't. So there were moments. Sadio Mane, I actually felt Sadio Mane's goal was offside, but with no VAR and all that sort of business, it was great. It was given to us. But yeah, there was good build-up play, an assist for Simicast as well. There's much more improvement and there's much more to come from this Liverpool team in pre-season, and I think we will get it, especially once we start getting more of the first team players back as well. I think our bench only had 4 players: Harry Wilson, Cometio, Nico Williams, and Harvey Davies. Again, these are 30-minute matches between two teams that I don't think we've played before, or at least not in a very, very long time. In Stuttgart, at least, maybe. And we've got more games to come. So we've got more to look forward to, more to analyse, more to get our teeth into, and hopefully also get ourselves some more players back, getting them into fitness, ready for the Premier League season, because that is not far away. What, 3-4 weeks? It's really not far away. It kind of creeps up on you a little bit because obviously we've just had the Euros and all that sort of business. So yeah, there's a lot more to look forward to. I'm obviously a bit more optimistic than maybe quite a few people are. Maybe that's I don't know, is it a fault of mine trying to be optimistic? I don't think so. I think it's quite a healthy way to look at things. And I'm not toxic positive, as this seems to be a new phrase that seems to have come around. I'm not that way. If things are going bad, I will say that they are going bad. Go back and look at videos from January in the last season. Things were going bad and I was saying that they were going bad. That's not how I work on this channel. I will say things as I see them. People will agree, some people won't agree. That's absolutely fine. We're all entitled to our opinions. Listen, I'm going to get out of here because there's really not too much really else to say analytically about these games. But for me, I was just buzzing to see Liverpool play football again. And I remember saying something like this last season when we had pre-season coming back as well, because the Euros were okay. Watching the Euros was okay. Wasn't something that I could get invested in, which is why I didn't make any videos. Even after the prediction video that I'd done at the start of it, I tried my hardest to get into the Euros and I just couldn't. I watched games every now and again, watched games with some of the big teams, some of the smaller teams as well. I just could not get myself invested in it. Not even England. England being in a final as well, and I just could not get. I can't fake things, and I won't fake things. I wasn't up for it. It is what it is. Some people might not like that. That's okay. It just wasn't for me. So I didn't make any videos from it because I wasn't invested. Now I'm invested in Liverpool, and there will be more Liverpool videos coming as well. So I hope that you guys, I know maybe a couple of people will have dropped off, and that's absolutely fine, no worries. But I am very, very grateful for any single one of you that has stuck around, subscribed to this channel, and maybe even comment on this video as well. I love talking to you guys. And do not get me wrong, I appreciate you all very, very much. And I've missed you very, very much as well. So this is going to be the end of the video. Please do feel free to give this video a like and subscribe if you're new around here, if you would also like to as well. Please feel free to get your comments in however you'd like to. Please try and be respectful with them as well. I know people are on a madness with FSG and stuff like that right now. There's so much to talk about and it will be talked about, I guarantee you. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do take care of yourselves and I'll catch you later.